The advertiser splash heat on hotels. South Australia's Medi hotels face new safety measures after an official review found food delivery was a possible cause of the latest quarantine leak that spread to Victoria, sparking a coronavirus outbreak. The Melbourne cluster, which rose to 9 cases of a highly contagious Indian variant, is linked to Adelaide's Playford Hotel. An office review expected today is understood to recommend changes. Once again, hotel quarantine under the microscope.
Hotel quarantine has proved to not be the panacea of keeping Australians safe that the federal government and state governments variously have thought it was. We've seen a number of issues in hotel quarantine in Western Australia. We've now seen them in South Australia. We've seen various calls for remote style facilities, but of course remote style facilities are a great idea in practice, but in theory they don't necessarily work. Howard Springs works because it's close to a major centre such as Darwin, which has medical infrastructure around it. Avalon may well work in Victoria because it's close to major medical infrastructure, Deakin University, Geelong Hospital base, various medical infrastructure systems. But throughout the rest of the country, it's very difficult to place remote quarantine facilities out in the middle of nowhere without close by medical infrastructure. And I'm going to make the point that I worked on the Indigenous intervention in 2007 by the Federal Health Department with the Howard government. The reason why it failed was because public servants did not want to go to remote Indigenous Australia and do their job properly. They bargained for incentives, for extra money to go to remote areas. They bargained for extra housing allowances. They did not want to go. The take-up was so low that the issues in identifying things that would lead to further protection of Indigenous children was absolutely so low because the public servants refused to go and do their job properly. The government, should they implement remote quarantine facilities, will face the same issue that public servants from Canberra will not go to remote areas outside of places that are co-located to various infrastructure that they can commute back and forth to.
The Gold Coast Bulletin splash as Harry pulls trigger. Veteran developer and apartment king Harry Triguboff has spent $75 million on an oceanfront site, doubling down on his faith in surfers' paradise, which he believes is entering a new era post-COVID. I'm surfers' biggest fan. I love walking on the beach and I lap up the buzz, Mr Triguboff told the Gold Coast Bulletin. Well, Harry's a smart cookie and he's just paid 75 big ones for a site near the Surfers Paradise beach. So happy days if you're a prospective unit owner on the Gold Coast. There's plenty around.
Glee, so I thought you were the Surfers Paradise biggest fan.
Well, I am.
You have to battle Harry Triguboff for the crown.
He's got a bit more dough than me, though. He can splash it around. Buy up whatever
Doesn't
he
always
likes.
matter. People aren't always looking for that.
Of course.
Yeah, it's personality.